How to Woo Your Lady in 9 Easy Steps by Paleowriter. Chapter 8, Chapter 7. The pieces are all in place, and it's time to take the leap, brave stallion. At step 7, you'll finally ask your lady on a date. Since you'll be your first truly romantic period of time together, it is essential that you do everything in your power to keep it as easygoing and unintimidating as possible. You want your mare to feel relaxed with you, not as if she is being made to act the part of the princess, as much as your viewers want. Of course, every mare is different. There are those who will be wished to be treated like a princess, and others who prefer to be treated like one of the colts. By now, you already know your mare well enough to ascertain where she falls on the spectrum. You can use that to come up with an ideal activity for your first date. This activity should be something you both enjoy, to encourage conversation. It could be as simple as a nice meal at a restaurant you both favor, or as complicated as a full day of planning and venturing. When in doubt as to what to choose that will suit you both, make sure you err on the side of what your lady would prefer. In this chapter, we will discuss how to plan your first date, and the various ways you might approach your mare to ask her on one. Finally, we will conclude the chapter by analyzing what may have gone wrong if her answer is no, and how to muster enough courage to pick yourself up and try again. The sun hadn't even set all the way down below the horizon yet, but Spike had already given up on the day. His body lay buried under several blankets in bed, where he was currently curled up in a fetal position. I hurt her. I hurt Rarity. How could I ever let myself do that? He severed, already knowing the answer. An image floated up through his mind. Ponyville in shambles, his own greed destroying everything around him that he cared about. Rarity, kissing him on the cheek and telling him how proud she was. She forgave me back then. I ruined everything. She forgave me. I swore I never act like I did that day ever again. But I did. I don't deserve to be forgiven. Spike curled up even tighter, squeezing himself into the tiniest ball he could manage. Somehow, he must have fallen asleep, because the next thing he knew, it was dark. His head was still under the blankets, but instead of seeing the faint glow of the setting sun through the fabric, everything was pitch black. Rubbed at his eyes, stopped to look over, and check if Twilight was in bed. She wasn't. What time is it? He felt around for his pocket watch until remembering he left it in the storage closet a couple of days ago. A soft murmuring attracted Spike's attention. It sounded like voices. Does Twilight have other ponies over? Spike wondered, getting up and heading towards the staircases. The voices got louder as he walked. Pinkie Pie was the first voice he could hear loud enough to identify, though he couldn't quite make out what she was saying. He started down the stairs, just another voice joined in. You know, the advice in this book ain't half bad. Some of it's downright terrible, sure, but I think the bigger problem is that even the good advice in here just ain't right for them two. Applejack's here too? Spike paused on the stairs. Is she reading my book? His face went red. I agree, Spike heard Twilight say. Her voice was kept low, just as Applejack's was. Spike just wouldn't listen to me. Spike hung his head. Pinkie Pie spoke next. I feel really, really bad. Poor little Spike. He was trying to. Spike sucked in a big breath and finished walking down the stairs before any pony could add anything further. Oh, hi, Spike! Pinkie greeted him as he was in their line of sight. Hi, he said awkwardly. Twilight, Pinkie, and Applejack sat on the wooden floor of the library, along with Fluttershy. How are you doing? Twilight stood up and walked over, eyebrows knit together in concern. Oh, you know, Spike replied. Okay for being such a self-centered jerk who doesn't deserve to look Rarity in the eye ever again. Spike, don't be so hard on yourself, Pinkie Pie bounded over. We all make mistakes. Blanket's right, Sugar Cube, Applejack said, getting up as well. Spike's eyes fell on the book she set down on the floor. Learning lessons is never easy, but it's nothing to beat yourself over forever. Spike sighed. How to Woo Your Lady in 9 Easy Steps lay on the ground, taunting him. Twilight must have noticed his staring, because he quickly levitated the book across the room to a shelf. Sorry, Spike. His sister apologized. I know I said it high, but every pony was curious. It's fine, Twilight, Spike said. I don't mind, really. He turned to Fluttershy, who was still sitting on the floor halfway across the room. How's Rarity? He figured out any pony She should know. But the Pegasus surprised him by shaking her head.
I'm sorry, Spike, but I haven't spoken to her.
Fluttershy sunk back a bit, hiding in her own mane.
She said she wanted to be left alone.
Fluttershy whispered, barely loud enough for Spike to hear. Spike slumped where he stood. I'm terrible. Spike, no! Twilight said. I mean, yes, what you did wasn't very nice, but you feel bad and want to make up for it, don't you? I wish I could make up for it, Spike replied, his eyes strained on the floor. Couldn't bring himself to look at any of his friends. There was silence. Spike knew every pony must be changing awkward glances, even without seeing them.
Well, of course you can, silly.
Pinky broke the silence, and Haunt another jumped forward so she was close enough to poke him in the shoulder. Hell! Spike gasped, mournfully tipping backwards a bit, as Pinky jabbed him with her huff.
Oh, I know,
Pinky exclaimed.
it's alright.
Don't say party, Twilight interrupted. I don't think this is the time for that. Pinky sat on her haunches, frowning slightly.
But every pony loves parties.
Plucky, Rarity doesn't need a party right now, Applejack said. She needs to feel cared about.
But a party
is one way of showing how you care, yes. But this has to be something Spike would do, Applejack finished gently. Something I would do? Spike asked. Like stomp all over Rarity's feelings and treat her no better than a lump of coal? Now stop that, Spike, Twilight ordered, frowning at him. You messed up. You're sorry about it. It's time to fix things. Besides, if anybody is to blame here, it's me. Pinky turned to Twilight and blinked.
Well, oh, right. You mean how you went behind Spike's back, breaking his trust by telling Rarity all about what he was up to and forgetting to tell her why and making her think that Spike was being a big beanie pants?
Pinky's words rushed out of her mouth like a dam breaking. She inhaled a gigantic blast from her lungs when she was done. Twilight saw Spike a glare of her eye. No! Twilight replied coldly. Spike looked up at Twilight. What is she talking about then? I mean how I should have been a more supportive sister and friend, Twilight explained. She looked down at Spike and sighed. Instead of telling Spike what he shouldn't do, I messed up by not giving him any other options. It's my fault. She set a hoof on top of his head. Spike's eyes began to sting. Twilight. Applejack cut in. Let's not start up the blame game here. Everybody's seen this situation coming for ages now. Did any of us really do anything to help?
I did,
Pinky piped up. Applejack rolled her eyes. Any pony else besides Plunky? There was silence. Alright, then. Applejack continued. So it's decided. We'll work together to fix this here mess. Spike had to swallow hard to choke back a shove of appreciation, as each pony put a hoof in the middle, sealing the pack. He would set his own purple hand on top of the pile of hooves. Thank you all. You really are the best friends a dragon for. Thus then, the front door busted open. Spike nearly stepped up at the sound of the door slamming against the wall. What is this, some kind of party? Thanks for inviting me, guys! Rainbow Dash snored, flying the library, circling over their heads. Rainbow Dash, what are you doing here? And what the hey kind of namby-pamby thing is this? The Pegasus gestured down to a hoof and hand pile. Every pony dropped their appendage back to the side sheepishly. You all up to something? Keeping secrets with me? Totally not cool. The Pegasus crossed their hooves and hovered in the air, glaring down at him.
sorry, Desi.
Pinky blinked up at the flying pony. Applejack shut her eyes nervously. We were just, we didn't have you come over because... Twilight started.
We're here to help Spike.
First I said softly.
Twilight got us all together a little while ago and asked us to come over. But she could only ask those of us who already knew Spike's problem.
She took a tiny step forward.
I'm so very sorry that made you feel left out in any way, Rainbow Dash. I'm sure that wasn't Twilight's intention at all.
Spike turned softly at that. Twilight got every pony here? He had been assuming Pinky had mustered out the troops and forced Twilight into the Lightning Parrot Library powwow. He tells his head and sister. Rosie had been a pain lately. He might have misjudged her. His mouth twisted back uncomfortably, and he made a mental note to thank Twilight later. Help, Spike? Rainbow Dash frowned, turning attention to the dragon. Just what do you need help in the middle of the night? Spike blanched. Everybody looked over at him. He didn't need to be a mind reader to know they were all asking the same thing. Can we tell her? He got back on his feet for a moment, then let out a sigh of resignation. What was one pony more anyway? Go ahead. Spike granted permission. You could tell her. It's not like it's a that big of a secret anymore. Twilight stepped forward, and Rainbow Dash flew back down, setting her hose on the library floor. So, Rainbow, Twilight began, I'm not sure if you ever picked on this, but Spike has a crush on Rarity, and he's been trying to win her affections in return. Rainbow Dash's eyes flew open. What? He does? He spun around looking at everybody else. You all knew about this already? Applejack, Pinky, and Fireside nodded. Why am I the last to know about everything? Rainbow Dash flew up, tugging at her mane. This is so not fair, guys. Why you keep me out of the loop?
Sorry, Gassy.
Pinky apologized a second time.
It was a secret. You know how important secrets are.
Yeah, but... Rainbow Dash looked around. How did you all know before me? I'll guess. Applejack shrugged. But Spike only specifically told me yesterday.
Oh, and Spike told me ages ago. Pinky bragged. But I didn't tell anybody else.
Fireside shuffled one huff.
I found out today. Though I maybe had a tiny inkling. Even the teensy easiest ones before.
She glanced over at Spike nervously. Yeah, I get it. I wasn't the best at hiding things. Spike slouched where he stood. Rarity knows too, by the way. He threw it out. Just so you know. He looked up at Rainbow Dash, who remained flying over her head. Rainbow Dash rolled her eyes. Great, so I really am last. That's just awesome. She came back down to the ground. Now, exactly why are we all here talking about Spike's love light at midnight? Twilight glanced at Spike. He nodded back to her. Well, here's what's been going on. Twilight began. It was late, and Rarity was back to her insomnia from days before. She hadn't even bothered going to bed. Instead, she sat in front of her vanity set, staring down at the front door, which was pulled open. Depending on which way it was turned, the jewels sitting inside the drawer resembled a heart. Currently, the red stone was flipped upside down, shining up at her cold setting. In a few of the facets, she could make out her reflection, on top of the Spike. The fire ruby, naturally, did not respond for the dragon who gifted it to her. Rarity blinked a tear away. The most generous gift she ever received. He gave this to me. I know he cares. So why did he stop? Memory Lane was wide open now, and Rarity ran through it at full speed, attempting to make some sense of things. Greed and gluttony had got the best of the dragon before. His birthday was proof of that. But he managed to reverse that somehow. If only she knew what snapped him out of it. It was after he saw the fire ruby. Rarity remembered that much. But what about the fire ruby did it? Was it seeing me with the fire ruby? Was it something else? She sighed. If only she could see the world through her dragon's eyes. Then perhaps she could understand, and put things back the way it should be. What caused him back to go greedy ways this week? Rarity racked her brain. Come on now, Rarity. He told you why. It's no mystery. He was trying to get you to care for him in return. Rarity blinked sadly. Though Holland and question he ever thought I cared for him after he'd gone out of his way to con me into it, I'll never know. A spark of anger fizzled through her once more, but it wasn't nearly as strong as the flames that had accompanied her heart earlier. Staying angry wasn't easy as she thought it would be. Rarity set one hoof on the fire ruby. Desperate. The word drifted in front of her mind. Spike was desperate. It did not excuse his behavior, but it did explain a bit. Not that Rarity had any idea what to do with that explanation. She pulled her hoof back, letting go of the fire ruby and curling up on the floor. In her mind, Spike's apology and full confession replayed over and over. No matter what Rarity did, she couldn't push the scene away, and that bothered her. She always managed to set Spike's feelings aside in the past, carrying on as usual. Sure, taking a bit longer after the birthday incident, but even then, Rarity shivered. Why does this matter so much? So Spike manipulated you, so he's feeling hurt now. So your friendship might never recover, and you might never speak to each other again. But it was right there. That was the difference. She couldn't let this go, not when the risk of losing everything was so high. I want our friendship to recover. I don't want a world without Spike. Another tear slipped down Rarity's cheek. She had no idea how to fix any of this. It was painfully obvious as she tried to fight and deny it. She needed this fix. She needed Spike back. So how are we ever going to go back to normal? So, now what? Rainbow Dash asked, after Twilight finished her story. Now, we figure out a way for Spike to make things up with Rarity, so that, like, Spike can do step 6. Pinky jumped between Twilight and Dash. Spike went, Pinky.
You need to spend lots of time with her and show her what a great gentlecolt he could be. Then, once he's won her heart, we can throw both a party.
Pinky.
Well, that'd be great.
Pinky! Spike held back a growl, but Buzz barely. I'm sorry, but I'm not doing step 6, or any of the other steps. I'm done with that bug.
Pinky's jaw dropped. But you can't just give up.
Spike held his ground. It's my decision. It's what's best. Rarity doesn't like me the way I like her, and all I'm doing is hurting her. She'd better off if I never spoke to her again. This again! Twilight sighed.
So, who said that line? You or Twilight?
What do you think works better in your mind, Trixie?
Spike, Rarity isn't going to hate you forever. We just need you two to make up, and then you two could be friends again.
So everything goes back the way it was before? Spike looked at the floor.
How could he explain to every pony that he didn't want everything to be back as how it was? That's why he ordered the book in the first place. Luckily, he didn't need to.
But that still doesn't get Spike a date,
Pinky pouted. Well, Pinky, I'm not sure that's going to be in the cards, Twilight started. Does any pony know how Rarity feels about Spike? Applejack asked, interrupting. Rainbow Dash shrugged. Don't look at me. I didn't even know about Spike's feelings until 10 minutes ago.
So, basically, camera pans up to Dash. Dum. Dum.
Don't look at me. I'm irrelevant. She, told me yesterday she likes Spike as a friend, the unicorn admitted.
She could have been lying,
Pinky tried, sounding a little desperate. Spike knew how Pinky felt, but he also knew how little a chance he stood with Rarity. Realistically, he couldn't see any way the beautiful, talented unicorn could ever feel anything more than friendship for him. And now, even that friendship was a risk.
Because of you. It's your own fault.
There was silence once more until Applejack turned on Fluttershy. Yeah, spent a lot of time with Rarity, Fluttershy. What do you think? Does Spike have any chance here? Every pony turned to Fluttershy, took a timid step back, keeping one hoof raised up, as she could hide behind it.
I'm not sure.
What do you mean you're not sure? Rainbow Dash tried over to her fellow Pegasus, getting right up in her face.
I mean, we've never really talked about it.
Fluttershy took another step backwards. What about yesterday, huh? Pinky hopped over next to Rainbow Dash. Fluttershy turned her face away.
She seemed upset about everything with Spike. I just don't know what that means.
Well, there you go! Rainbow Dash turned back to Spike. She likes you enough to be sad if you're a jerk to her.
It's a start!
Pinky looked up, and she and Rainbow Dash slapped their hose together. Spike wasn't sure that was the kind of start he wanted. Girls, listen, Twilight said. First goal here should be just to get every pony back on speaking terms.
Speaking terms?
Pinky let out a laugh.
It's such a brain pony, Twilight. You're thinking small on this one. There's a chance for Spike to show how much he cares. We gotta go all out here.
All out? Spike asked nervously. Pinky looked up on a library table, shoving several books on it. They collapsed off the floor in a heap, and Twilight winced.
Listen up, every pony. We got a job to do. Spike has no pony to help anymore. He's throwing his book in the trash and going solo. Rarity's sad, Spike is sad, every pony is sad. It's time to turn all these fans upside down.
Pinky threw her front hose in the air.
And we're just the ponies for the job. Who knows better than us, right? We can make this happen. By tomorrow night, they'll be best friends once more.
Pinkie Pie hopped down and elbowed Spike in the suds.
Even more than that, if we could get our little rummy in here to pick up some courage.
Spike went red, and Pinkie hopped back on the table.
So who's with me?
A chance to mess with Rarity and get her to think about something other than frou-frou dresses for a day? I'm in. Rainbow Dash flew up and gave Pinkie a salute.
Twilight? Fluttershy? Applejack?
Pinkie asked. Spike glanced between the three pony, rubbing his heads together anxiously until he noticed what he was doing. Glanced his hands tight in an effort to look more pulled together. Hope danced through him in tiny tendrils, but he refused to let it fully blossom yet.
We won't hurt Rarity at all, will we?
Fluttershy asked nervously. I don't think so, Sugar Cube, Applejack answered, taking a step forward. We're going to be straight with her. No secrets this time around. No tricks, right? Applejack looked up at Pinkie. Pinkie Pie nodded. Yeah, man, Applejack said.
Well, as long as this isn't going to hurt any pony.
Fluttershy would tear it off. Spike took a step forward so it him his Pegasus. Fluttershy, the last thing in the question I want to do right now is hurt Rarity any more than I already have, Spike said. With you helping, I know everything will be done the right way. Fluttershy smiled at him.
Spike, you're such a sweet dragon. If Rarity just decides to like you, they couldn't be happier with her choice.
Spike's face went really red and Fluttershy's face turned to Pinky.
I'm in too.
There was only one pony left. Spike glanced over at his sister. Twilight? Twilight's expressive revealed nothing. It took her a moment to speak. I don't want to raise Spike's expectations too high. I'll help, if only to make sure Spike doesn't get hurt too badly. Pinky said, I completely missing the point and ignoring Twilight's serious tones.
Onwards to the flying stage!
Spike gave his sister a small smile of thanks. Twilight pulled him in for a hug. I'm here to take care of you, Spike. Never forget that. Spike gripped the rose tightly in his hands, carefully wrapping his fingers around the stem to keep him away from the thorns. It was morning, and the sunlight shone on Rarity's boutique, rippling out several windows. Spike gulped. I hope you know what you're doing. Behind him, 5 ponies gathered, slowly easing him forward. Maybe we should rethink this. Well, this doesn't work after all, Spike asked, his feet skidding in the dirt. Rainbow Dash gave him an extra hard shove forward and he stumbled a bit.
You're the one who went all noble on us, she said. Remember? Not wanting us to come up with anything?
Spike curled his toes in the dirt. He remembered, last night, when they started playing, Spike had realized that the girls were doing all the talking. He wasn't saying anything. But if he was going to win back Rarity's friendship and trust, he would need to make things up to her, his way. He had to show her that he could put her first, not to thinking his own ways to make her happy again. Not the others were going to help. He had a lot planned, and each pony had a role to play. The first task was getting him to Rarity's and making sure he didn't back down. Rainbow Dash had taken up that responsibility with peculiar glee.
Go on, Spike.
Rainbow Dash gave him a headbutt in the back. Keep moving.
You can do it.
Pinky cheered, running up to his side. We're right behind you, Applejack said. Spike glanced. They were all really right behind him. 5 ponies forming a blockade. There was nowhere to run. Spike took a deep breath and put one foot in front of the other. Rarity's front door grew closer and closer. Rarity awoke to the sound of knocking. She sat up quickly.
What time is it?
She glanced back at the clock, then at the mirror. She overslept by a lot. And now some pony was knocking, and her mane looked like Obelisk had made a nest and raised a litter of kittens in it. She magically brought over to herself, quickly yanked out her rollers, doing her best to make herself look presentable.
Coming!
She yelled, dancing in front of the shop. Then she paused. Just outside the window, she saw Twilight and panic took over.
Is Spike here too?
Rarity slammed her body up against the wall, edging her towards the window and peering out through the slit in the curtains.
Celestia, they're all out there.
What could they want? She couldn't tell for sure Spike was there first, but upon closer inspection she could spot the edge of his tail. He was the one knocking directly in the floor. Then he knocked again. Rarity bit her lower lip, sinking against the wall. What was he supposed to do? What was he supposed to say? Her mind froze up as she sat on the floor, jittering. She's not going to answer, Spike said. His shoulders drooped, and he backed away from the door.
Well, this is just ridiculous, Rainbow Dash said. If she won't answer, we'll just have to make her answer.
Her wings began to rev up. It was only Twilight's quick thinking that stopped the Pegasus from slamming into the shop door.
Hey, let me go!
Rainbow Dash struggled. Spike recognized the spell holding Twilight's wings, Rainbow Dash's wings back. It was the same one Twilight had used on his feet a couple days ago. He still hadn't got around to ask her when she learned immobility magic.
Hold up there, Rainbow, Twilight said. We can't just go busting in her on like this.
Rainbow Dash grumbled, something under her breath, but stopped struggling. Twilight released her.
That's right,
Applejack said. If she ain't answering, brute force ain't gonna change her mind.
Some point needs to talk to her, Twilight said. It fits her to come out and hear what Spike has to say.
Spike glanced over at Fluttershy. Every pony else turned her to her as well.
Oh my.
Fluttershy backed up.
You want me to go in? Don't worry, Fluttershy. If you don't want to go, I'll go.
Pinkie Pie glanced over at Rarity's door, but both Applejack and Rainbow Dash got to her first, dragging her back.
I think Fluttershy will be better suited for this blankie,
Applejack said.
No offense, Sugar Cube.
Pinkie Pie crossed her hooves, pout forming over her face. The 2 ponies stopped her a good distance back from the door.
Oh, fine. I don't know.
Rainbow Dash eyed Fluttershy after releasing Pinkie.
You really think she's up to it?
Fluttershy's sign came farther back. I couldn't even see her eyes anymore behind her mane.
I'd rather really not. That's okay.
All right, I'll go then, Twilight said, stepping forward. Spike's eyes flew open. He looked in front of Twilight. No, That's fine, Twilight. You don't have to. No way did he want Twilight getting another chance to talk with Rarity alone. Spike shuddered. His sister looked down funny, but then Applejack spoke up and her attention was drawn away. Shoot, I'll go. No point else wants to, Applejack said. Me and Rarity don't always see eye to eye. But heck, if I'll let her sit in studying herself away, while Spike is doing her best to make amends. Every pony was quiet for a moment. Any objections to Applejack going in? Twilight asked. Spike stood his head. The others followed suit.
All right, then,
Twilight nodded at the Earth Pony.
looks like you've been nominated. Good luck.
Applejack stepped forward to knock on the door, and the others dropped back. Spike could. I hope she listens. Spike swallowed hard. He held onto Rose, now standing from across the street. A knock sounded once again. This one had a different beat. Rarity glanced out her window. Nearly every pony was gone. In fact, she could only see the back of a half an orange pony.
Applejack,
Rarity frowned.
is she out there alone?
It sure looked like that way. Applejack continued to knock, and Rarity grimaced. She could refuse to answer, but she knew Applejack was stubborn enough to weigh her out. Unless he wanted to listen to the knocking all day long. She really only had one choice. Rarity opened the door.
Hello, Applejack.
Rarity didn't bother to hide her annoyance. Well, howdy there, Rarity, Applejack said, tipping her hat. May I come in?
I suppose.
Rarity sighed, stepping inside. Applejack walked in, making sure to wipe her hose out carefully on the rug.
I know why you're here,
Rarity said.
I saw you all out there this morning. You're here to talk about Spike, aren't you?
Applejack nodded. I ain't gonna lie, you pegged it right there. Rarity shut the door.
Fine then. Can I get you something to drink? Any refreshments?
She asked. Just because she was annoyed didn't mean she had to forget her manners completely.
You're welcome to step into the kitchen.
Rarity began walking that way herself.
I can put a pot of tea on.
No stalling now, Applejack said, giving Rarity a look. Rarity held back a frown. She hadn't been stalling. Okay, maybe she had been trying to stall a little bit. But still, Applejack didn't have to go and point it out, did she?
Oh, Applejack, don't be silly,
Rarity laughed. Since when did Applejack get this so perceptive?
I'm just being hospitable here. Now, what can I get you?
Rarity continued, sneaking into the kitchen. You get yourself out of your shop and go outside to talk to Spike, Applejack said, following Rarity. Rarity came to a stop and turned to face Applejack.
If she wants to be so direct, then fine, we'll be direct.
Rarity narrowed her eyes.
So Spike's got the whole group of you on his side now, has he?
She interrupted.
Lovely, no pony seems to care about my feelings.
Sugar Cube, we feel for you both, Applejack said. We just want you to give Spike a chance to speak his mind. Rarity felt her defenses rising up around her.
He already had his taunts yesterday.
So what now? Applejack asked. You gonna be just angry at the little guy forever? Rarity sucked in a breath to cover up her lower lip. Well, she started to quiver despite her best efforts to contain her emotions.
Who says I'm angry?
Applejack stared at her. Rarity's face contorted around her mouth.
Stupid lip. I'm just... You're not crying from an Applejack. I'm fine. I'm not mad. I just don't feel like speaking to Spike right now. That's all.
She turned back to the stove, setting her tea kettle on with a clunk. Applejack let out a loud sigh. Really?
I appreciate your concern,
the unicorn continued, setting the water to boil.
But believe it or not, I can handle this myself, and I would prefer to handle this myself.
Well, yeah, handling it yourself is making Spike stare than an empty mug of cider. Applejack stepped up next to Rarity, staring at her challengingly. Rarity sent an equally stubborn glance, glaring back at the Earth Pony.
And why should I care?
Rarity! Applejack exclaimed in a disappointed tone. I'm shocked at you, not caring about how one of your closest friends is feeling. That's just cruel.
Cruel?
Rarity barked out and laughed.
And what he did to me wasn't.
Rarity's lips started up again. Her insides twisted in a panic as she realized she couldn't stop it. Now listen here, Applejack said, stamping one hoof. I've heard just about enough out of you. I wasn't there yesterday when this big fight of yours happened, but I've heard the story from Spike, Pinkie Pie, and Fluttershy. 3 different views. Spike fully admits what he did to you was wrong, wants to make it up to you. Pinkie Pie's upset, but she says your anger yesterday was understandable, and Spike should try to fix things. Sir, 2 of them were thick as thieves yesterday as far as I can tell. But concerned Rarity, even Fluttershy agrees it's time to put these bad feelings behind you and make up with Spike. She was the pony defending you. You're just being a sourpuss if you don't let Spike at least try to show you how important you are to him. He's got a whole day of activities planned out, all for you. Rarity Slip was trembling full speed now.
For me?
Rarity blinked a few times, working to keep her eyes dry. She'd known Spike still cared. She'd known deep down, but hearing it spelled out like that. Now will you stop with the dramatics and give a little chance? Applejack asked. Her voice seemed gentler than before. Rarity's eyes flickered back and forth.
But
I know, Sugar Cube, Applejack said. It's a whole mess of a complicated situation. Rarity sat back on the kitchen floor, looking to the side.
you have no idea.
I'm sure I don't, Applejack said. Well, even more of a reason for you to at least go back on speaking terms with him. He feels real terrible. Rarity couldn't blur herself to look at Applejack. She had nothing left, nothing more to argue with. Applejack was right.
I'll just being selfish and sulky and staying here.
The last defenses fell, like a curtain tearing and crumbling to the floor of an abandoned stage. The curtain had just been dangling by a few threads anyhow. It had been tugged on severely the night before. Spike's pleas relayed in her mind as he tried to sleep. Applejack's blunt logic was just the final shove. Rarity kept her eyes to the floor in shame.
I suppose I owe you an apology, Applejack,
she said offensively.
It's very kind of you to come in and knock some sense into me. This has just been all so...
No trouble at all, Applejack replied. I'm glad I could help.
No, really,
Rarity said, biting her lip to stop the trembling once and for all.
you don't know what this means. You in particular. Getting me to see Spike.
Well, shucks, Rarity. Applejack swung one hoof over the other. Like that real big of a deal.
It is.
Rarity looked up at Applejack, locking eyes.
For a while there, I thought Spike, I thought you...
Applejack blinked. Rarity flushed, realizing Applejack had no idea what she was talking about.
I mean, nothing,
Rarity quickly said. Clearly the Earth Pony had never gone to pick up on her paranoia, considering Spike's feelings towards her. No sense in bringing it up now.
So, shall we go then?
I assume Spike is waiting somewhere nearby. Applejack laughed. Sure, Sugar. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's right across the street. Rarity took off the kettle off the stove, doing her best to act confident about what was happening.
Okay, it'll be okay now. You talk to Spike, you can work this out somehow. He still cares. You messed up, but he still cares. It's time to be a mature, grown-up man and put the past behind you.
Despite the only sensible disgustion going on part of her head, the rest of Rarity's brain had checked out with reality. Her only remaining shred of consciousness was fully absorbed in reminding Rarity to at least try and look composed, took all her concentration just to follow Applejack back on the shop without stopping or stumbling. Rarity hardly even registered where she was going. Then, as soon as Applejack swung the door open, blue sky and chirping birds assaulted her from outside. Panic hit her hard as she'd been tossed first into the lake. Stepping out of the door to face Spike was suddenly the last thing Rarity could ever envision herself doing. Luckily, Applejack didn't seem to notice. She walked out first. We're all good over here! The cowpony yelled. Rarity spied all of her friends across the street. Each turned their heads their way. Rarity remained frozen in her doorway, nudged forward by Rainbow Gas. Spike walked across the street towards her. He held a rose in his claws.
Here's a rose. Another rose for me.
Some consolation that the dragon dug, just as nervous as he felt. Spike finally reached her and stopped.
Rarity?
He asked. Rarity swallowed. I just wanted to say again how sorry I am. If you let me, I'd like nothing more than to make it up to you. He offered a rose up towards her. Please, just give me this one day. I'll do everything I can to show you that I do care. Spike blinked up at her, and Rarity had to draw a shaky breath in order to respond. It was now or ever.
Of course, Spike,
she said, leviting the rose out of her hand towards her.
What kind of lady would I be if I refuse?
The rose floated between them. Spike gave Rarity the most genuine smile she had seen out of him in days.